First of all, thank you so much, sir, for giving me this time. Like, it's a pleasure to have such a senior officer like you on my show.
Thank you for coming to Kaziranga. Because Kaziranga, mainly in my career, I can say that this is my dream to serve in Kaziranga. And I got this opportunity to serve here. And I'm from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
I born and brought up in forestry background. And we studied about rhinos during our school days. And I did my BSc and MSc in forestry. So we know a lot about this species. The species at the verge of extinction. And the Assam government is protecting this species. So we dreamed that if we get a chance to at least to visit this area. And I never thought that I will work as a director in this area.
So, sir, being a director, you have seen a lot of challenges in this place because, forest department personally goes through a lot of challenges. I would just request you if you can share one of your challenges.
So the major threat to Kaziranga is Rhino poaching. So this poaching is basically an international network used to work on this poaching related issues. And mainly for the forest department, we are having a limitations like the typical forestry activities used to be into that particular division and surroundings. So we never used to work on national, international level, mainly to arrest the culprit. But in case of Kaziranga, we have to do. But in case of other general forest-related crimes, like killing of any herbivore or felling of trees or encroachments, these are basically we used to treat as like a local issues. Okay. But in case of rhino poaching being an international issues, so we need a support from the national, international agencies. So in Kaziranga, we are fortunate enough that we are getting such type of support. That is the reason that we are in a position to protect this species. And not only we are simply protecting it, and due to the various habitat-related interventions, we are growing in numbers also. You know that when Kaziranga, this conservation history started way back in 1905, that time the population was hardly 2 dozens. Now we are having more than 2,400. So it's a great success story.
So, sir, like when I saw you for the first time, like we were talking with somebody, and that's to an Assamese. So, I have like, how you learned this language, and I think this is also on a personal level helping you in your profession.
Yeah, that's true. Because like Kaziranga, we are handling more than 1900 manpowers. So they are comfortable with only with the local language. So when I joined Assam cadre, so I have to learn both Hindi and Assamese. So I thought that instead of learning Hindi, it's better to learn Assamese. So I appear in the departmental exam. First time I failed, then again I have taken tuition teachers. So again I put a full-fledged preparations. Okay. Then second attempt I clear the departmental examinations. So I know how to speak and write, and very comfortable with this language. So because of that, we are easily to communicate with our frontline staff. So whatever we want to work get done from them, so it is possible. So without their language, there is always a gaps in case of communicating any activities.
Initial time, I didn't feel like you were not a person from Assam, right? Like for your staying so many days right now, you are like Assamese, but I thought you were not a Tamilian. Like, the way fluently you were speaking, for the sake of time, I couldn't believe like you were from Tamil. Like it's like amendable.
Yes. When we joined, because I'm from the 2000 batch of Indian Forest Service. So when we joined Mussoorie and again in Dehradun for our foundation course and our regular 3 years training probation period. So those days we had a very tough times to learn how to learn Hindi and again in Assamese. So at a time learning 2 languages because South Indian, the Dravidian, their script is entirely different. So in North, the pronunciation is entirely different. So I may try to communicate something, but again the person who is listening, he may get it something differently. So I had a very tough time in the initial phase, that first 2-3 years. But when I got the posting in the field, when I used to move along with the staff, so they guided me a lot of things. So because of that, now I'm in a position that so the language is not an issue for me.
So like you said, you are from 2000 batch, and being a director, you need to handle so many young officers, moreover young bureaucrats if you talk about. How do you feel like, is there a change in the young bureaucrats, how they are, and moreover, leadership plays an important role. So how you look into it?
Yeah, that's true. Mainly in case of forest department, like if you see that the forest management during the British period, forest management post-independence, then the forest management, Assam dates, entirely different type of managements. Because during the British period, it's basically 100% government controlled setups. That forest means only the government is authorized to do any activities. Post-independent, that the government of India and every state government, they realized that we should give a due weightage to the fringe villages, because they are basically the actual custodian of the natural resources. Then later we try to take their support also in all our forest management in the name of community forest management. But the issue mainly with the frontline staffs, because when they enter mainly in 70s, 80s, we taught them that you should not involve the fringe villagers in any of your activities. So they are basically the destroyer, something like that. After the 88 forest policies, then government said that no, they are basically a part of our management, so we have to involve them. So it's very difficult for the frontline staff to change themselves suddenly from no to yes. At the official level, it's easy. We can say that now this is the government order. Till yesterday that you are not supposed to go to that village. But today onward we changed our policy. So today onward that we have to go for a joint forest management. You have to work together means for them it's really it's a time taking process. But again gradually things are changing. And now from our typical only that departmental solo managements, now it's basically participatory managements. In Kaziranga also we are having more than 100 plus eco-development committees, in the fringe villager committees. So they used to help us whenever the animal used to go into their village, and that is in the wildlife area. And in case of territorial division area, we used to share our reserve forest area with the fringe communities, and we used to provide the fund to them so they can raise the plantations, so they can share, we can share the output with the villagers. So lot of changes coming up. So for me, like when I entered the service in 2000, the policies came in 88. So for me, it's know that okay, I have to work with the communities. But when I come to the field, still there are frontline staff, mainly at the forester and forest guards level. They say that sir, हम क्यों गाँव लोग के साथ काम करना चाहिए? ये लोग तो आके जानवर का मारता है, पेट करता है. So आप बोलेंगे साथ में करो, ऐसे साथ में नहीं होगा बोल के. So there are issues. So gradually things are changing, and we also have to realize that we cannot simply say that this is the instruction from the top, you have to obey. But we have to see their actual issues at the field, because 80s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, many of the people know that the forest we treated as this is basically a revenue sector. You can fell the trees. Today's era, if someone is felling a tree, means we used to see that he is something like a inhuman. He is basically anti-social like that. The same person we have did the same activities in 80s and 70s, but that time we said that he is contributing to the revenue. So that such type of issues are there in the field. Yeah.
So sir, last year we all were, we'll just walk in this way. Last year we were facing a crucial time due to COVID-19. Now things are a bit okay with the change of vaccination implementation. So every other departments, like while doing a podcast, while talking with the IS officers and IPAs, they were facing different issues. But in your department, in forest, how were the challenges? Things were different due to COVID?
Yeah, definitely. Mainly in case of Kaziranga, because Kaziranga is one of the prominent tourist destinations, and this is an iconic tourist destination also. So on an average, every year we used to receive around 2 lakhs visitors that contribute around 10,000 plus foreign itself. But due to the COVID, there's a major impact in case of international flow. But in case of domestic, very, very positive sign, we can say that. Generally, we used to get somewhere around 1.6, 1.7. And this year, we are near to 2 lakhs visitors. So very, very positive symptoms. But in case of this COVID and local issues, because Kaziranga, it's basically a rural area, so very difficult to convince the people, say that you come, there is no any issues. But again, the people put the question, so we are ready to come, no doubt. Kaziranga is such a clean and green environment. But again, in case of emergencies, again we have to go to either to Jorhat or Tezpur or Guwahati. So that issues is always there. But thank God that there is no any major issues in last 1.5 years. And the tourism industry is basically mainly the jeep safari or elephant safari. They are really good support, and the hotelier they are quite concerned about issues, and the civil administration they are helping us. So because of that, there is no any major issues. This year, current year, tourism industry is also almost is over. Yeah, generally we used to close the park April or May based on the pre-monsoons. So now the pre-monsoon is coming up. So far as the tourist phase is smoothly, it has gone within this COVID issues. But we are very much concerned about the next seasons. But again, the positive thing is that vaccination drive is going on, and mainly in case of Kaziranga, that all the district administrations surrounding, there are 5 districts, so everyone is there supporting us. So most of the staffs, they are taking interest to take vaccines. So we hope that in coming month itself we can complete this vaccination drive.
Sir, as we're saying that your department leads a lot of thing about tourism, but at the same point of time, I personally feel, I don't know how people will react on it, like we sometimes behave like an uncivilized person. Like we throw something, as we were talking about in the morning, that if we just throw candied packets, and if anyhow an animal have it, they are going to have some issues. Yes. So how you are thinking, like what can we do to make people more concerned when they are traveling here?
Basically that people, they should, we used to give basic awareness programs to all our jeeps tour operators, that whenever you are bringing the visitor, that you should educate them that what things they should take into the park and what they should not. But still I've seen that sometimes the people used to throw the water bottle, because water bottle we anyway we have to allow them. They used to be inside the park for more than 2 hours, but still there are people used to throw the water bottles. We have seen that during my earlier postings, when I was the part of the same Tiger Reserve as a deputy director. So we have done this wild buffalo translocation from Kaziranga to Laukwa. After 3 months of monsoon, that buffalo died. So we thought that habitats, everything is perfect, that what went wrong, that how these things happens. Then during the postmortem, we have seen that this is a rescued calf, and it has eaten the chappal which came in that Brahmaputra river water. So basically that if you say that pollution-free environment means by only doing such type of things only in Kaziranga, it won't solve the problems. The people in the upstream area or surrounding area, everyone has to take care of the environment. If they throw the plastics in their area during the monsoon times through the flood water, finally it will enter into the park only. So then park will be something like a garbage dumping ground, something like that only. Last 2-3 years we have put a lot of effort mainly on that, and this year we are planning to have a proper solid waste management or garbage disposal mechanism, mainly for the Bokaghat subdivision area. Let's hope.
As you said about flood, we see a lot of news about Kaziranga flood and Assam flood. Yeah. So that's a big challenge here.
I can say that we welcome flood.
Oh.
Kaziranga cannot survive without flood, because we are having more than 190 plus wetlands.
Yeah.
So you see that now lot of animal activities are taking place in and around the wetland area. So every year cleaning such wetland is not possible, and there are nutrients addition in such wetlands. During the flood, that all the wetland used to get cleaned, and the fresh water used to get refilled in such wetlands. So the flood is basically helping Kaziranga to keep all the wetlands and clean and green. And again, Kaziranga flood is also ensuring that Kaziranga is only for the fittest. So if any animals physically unfit means, then they have to go away. So this is basically annual fittest test for all the individuals inside the Kaziranga National Park. So any year without flood means, then definitely we can say that that's not a good symptom for the populations of different species in Kaziranga, because mainly in wetland area, lot of eutrophication related activities used to be there, and manually cleaning is not possible. So not only that, and again we are having a herbivore base of different species of around 50,000 individuals. So they need a huge grassland area. So the flood water used to ensure that the grassland area will be permanently grassland. In case of no flood, then the grassland will gradually become a woodland. We used to do artificial removal of such a woodland area, but again it's not possible. Kaziranga being around 1300 square kilometer areas in huge landscape. So the flood is basically helping us to keep the grassland permanently grassland and to clean the wetland and to remove all the physically unfit ones. So it's basically it's doing lot of our departmental work.
You know, while talking with so many officers, like morning only, I was heard that sometimes while you get into jungle some work, you also face attacks by a lot of. So I just want, like, you have more experience, because there's a place, while this is my first time visiting Kaziranga, I saw elephant, deers and buffaloes roaming in a same place, which is not easily visible. So I want to ask, like, have you ever, you definitely faced some attacks, and if you can share.
I faced personally several such type of issues, because under my supervisions we rescued around 8 number of tigers. And this year also we rescued rhino, which is strayed out during the month of January to the nearest township area of the North Bank. So rescuing a rhinos in the township area itself is a big challenge, because once the animal is beyond the boundary in such a habitation area, it's very difficult to control the crowd, control the animals. So we are having a lot of limitations, and mainly this rhino is very ferocious animals. Inside the park, if you see that, this look like a very docile, but it can run the speed of 60 to 70 kilometers. Then this year also we have lost two of our staffs, one from the revenue area. Rhino killed 3 persons. Basically, the rhino, when it's with the calves, it's always used to be in a ferocious mood. It used to attack, and even during 2019, it tried to attack the SDPO, Pokakat and the DFO. And to save them from rhinos, we fired around 17 rounds in the air. Then only finally left the scene. So it's very, very, very tricky, and this also like I can say, like international border area. So very sensitive, that there is no any guarantee. We have seen sometimes like in the evening time, we used to go to the field area, we used to interact with the staffs, and late night I'll get the information that so and so was killed by the rhinos. So it's very, very difficult to digest such type of news, but it happens because they are wild, and we know that we are protecting them. They don't know that we are basically protectors. So they always used to treat us like an intruder only. So they'll always used to be overcautious. Maybe overcautious means not mainly for themselves. They may basically have seen that with the elephant and rhinos. They used to think that, okay, this human may harm my child. So they always in a protective mode. I've seen that elephant, the rhinos mainly, even it's a 4 days old or 4 years old, the mother used to give the same treatment. So in such case, that even me, that this is a 4 years old rhino, so it's already full grown, but mother still used to ensure that there is
same like human being.
No one should approach my daughter or son.
Like, I won't take much of your time, and this is the last question I want to ask. Like, you know, due to COVID, we all are going through a tough phase. Everybody, like, you know, starting from business, jobs, a lot of people lost jobs, and near and dear ones. You have seen a lot of challenges in life. You have seen a lot of ups and downs in life. What will be your thoughts towards our guests or our audience, that how to tackle situations when things are against you?
Basically, I can say that, like in case of Kaziranga, I was telling about the flood itself, that a factor. Like ensuring only for the fitness. So we should take care of our fitness. So this is the time that no doubt India is traditionally known for, we are having our own culture, so how to handle such type of issues. But recent change in our food patterns and change in our culture. So this is the time to really look into. Otherwise, we hear such type of issues, not a COVID, in case of cholera, all those issues in last centuries, lot of issues we handle it. But this times, no, it's basically very critical phase. Mainly I've seen that children's education. Last 2 years they couldn't have their regular classes, and mainly in their career, this 2 years means definitely will have an impact. And in case of our health, like we know that the biggest asset is this yoga. We have given yoga to the whole world, and many of us still in a dilemma whether to follow or not. And again, in case of our routine activities also, we should go along with the nature. Definitely nature will take care of us. But now I've seen that many of us, we never used to even to get up at sunrise. We used to sleep up to 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And if you see in the wildlife, I've always used to think that daytime they used to do a lot of activities. Once the sun sets, they will relax. But in case of human beings, when once the sun sets, then only our day will start in many of us. We used to basically we are working against the nature, and the nature itself has given a lot of immunity powers. So we should use it properly. And vaccination drive is going on. So my personal request to all the viewers that take this vaccination drive seriously. And try to do your routine physical activities. Make it as a compulsory. Like we are having a 3 times food. There is no any instruction that you should have a breakfast or dinner or lunch, but still we used to have it. But when we ask about what about your physical activities today, you see that okay, थोड़ा सा आज में सोने के लिए मन में था. So then that thing that we have to come out from all such type of things. We have to certain things we have to make it as a compulsory. I've seen during our service period, I've been to France. One thing I've seen that people used to do cycling morning 4 o'clock. Such a very, very cold area. It's a temperate country. They are doing it. And here if you ask that someone is doing such type of physical activities, not hardly 1% of the population we are doing. Basically we are using this morning hours properly. So this is the time that we have to rework it. And if you see that our old generations, even in this present COVID era also, mainly in the rural area, no issues, because they used to get up in the early morning, they used to do go to the agriculture field, they are working in such a sunny day, so they are getting the natural immunities. Mainly in the urban area, who is always in that AC environment, they have to ensure that they are doing their physical activities regularly. They have to burn their calories. Then only we can ensure that. Otherwise, in this immunity test, it's really a big challenge. Like the way every year Kaziranga animals, they are passing the immunity test. I expect that the whole society also should pass. Otherwise, like we are having AIDS, we are having cancer. With every issues, the society still is moving forward. Exactly. So like that, COVID also we can move forward. Only that whatever the instructions government is giving to us, that we have to follow it seriously and sincerely. It's not only for you, for the society and for the whole country.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for giving me this time and opportunity. So we'll see you someday. Thank you.